This dude is a legend, straight up legend. Will be remembered forever. You will hear Inoue's name, man. Ain't nobody doing that. Ain't nobody done it like him, man. Ain't nobody done it like him. I know some people might say Crawford and all of that shit, but man, this dude had fought world championship fights since he had 7 professional fights. Come on. 7 professional fights. God. He number.
The fighter delivered an impressive performance against, in my opinion, the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the sport. First of all, Junto Nakatani clearly proved that he still deserves to be considered a major name in boxing, especially after putting on such a strong showing against the #1 pound-for-pound fighter. Looking ahead, I believe he is going to be an extremely difficult opponent for many fighters to defeat over the coming years.
Earlier today.
Oh man, yes I did. Inoue had me on pins and needles. Now I like Inoue. Surprisingly, my 2 favorite fighters in this era, for real, outside of my brother, because I gotta say my brother, fastest hands in boxing, etc. The creativity, all that, is through the roof. But Monster, and there we go. Monster, and who's fighting? Dave Benavidez.
Hey, look up this young fighter called the Monster. He's Japanese, 118 pounds. He's better than Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao was cool like that. He's vicious. That's a badass guy he beat too. Broke him down. Ooh.
118?
Yeah,
who the hell fights in that
bantamweights?
Yeah, but who?
Some bad yeah, some killers. He beat him so easy. The mean.
Mike Tyson knows exactly what it takes to deal with frightening opponents. Yet even he is completely captivated by a fighter competing at super bantamweight. Tyson doesn't simply admire Nakatani from a distance. He sees something familiar in him, almost like a reflection of his own prime years, a kindred fighter driven by that same ruthless hunt and destroy mentality. For this Japanese superstar, the goal isn't simply to win rounds and collect points on the judges' scorecards. It's about crushing an opponent's confidence through devastating body attacks and brutal, precise combinations capable of changing the course of a fighter's career.
Disputed title fight. Inoue pretty much vanquished all challengers so far at the lower weight classes. He has shown time and time again over now 28 wins that he is a devastator, right? Has big time punching power, but can also outbox guys with big time punching power, right? Showed that in Nonito Donaire fight. So this was the biggest test for him. Nakatani, a bigger guy. I mean, I don't know about definitely a taller, longer fighter, rangier, both guys dangerous, southpaw orthodox matchup. And the fight starts with epic entrances. And I know that everybody, before we even get into the fight, everybody talks about how Inoue should come to America and box. I would like to see him over here more, but why leave if you're gonna sell out 55,000 in Japan and have these awesome, entrances and these massive displays, and he's a star over there. So there's really no reason for him to come over here. Unless, again, they found a way to make the tank fight happen, which I don't think is ever going to happen. But yeah, we got to appreciate it, even if it's not in the US, even if we got to wake up every once in a while and watch a fight at 7 a.m. or 11 p.m. or whatever, sometimes the greats are worth that, right? And
stepping into the ring with this monster creates a disturbing physical reality that most fighters are simply not prepared to experience. If you pay close attention to the raw ringside audio from his complete destruction of Moro John Nikmato, you can hear a brutal impact that almost seems impossible for a human fighter to produce. Professionals and fans were genuinely shocked by the frightening mechanical sound that rang throughout the arena whenever his gloves landed cleanly. Some even claimed it sounded like someone striking one of those heavy-duty arcade punching machines with maximum force. Joe Rogan explained why this happens, emphasizing that it isn't merely tremendous power coming toward you. It's the combination of explosive, lightning-fast speed that causes elite world-class fighters to miss completely before getting violently caught by punches they never even saw coming.
And whoever's saying that, they got to get in the ring and do that against him. Obviously, everybody has a ceiling on how far they could go up. He started out at 108. I look at his body structure. He don't look bigger than Pacquiao. Pacquiao's head was bigger. He was taller. His legs was bigger. So I don't know if Inoue could carry, much more weight. But bro, that dude got fighting spirit. He don't get gun shy when he get hurt. See, I wish that people could just give. I'm not saying nothing about Shushu Carrington. Don't get me wrong, because he's a future opponent of Inoue, so he's supposed to look at him in a certain way. My statements is about just general statement. He's like, the boxing media is racist. I'm being honest with you. They just are. They say certain things about certain fighters and they never keep it objective. Inoue is a fantastic fighter. He's an offensive fighter. And offensive fighters get hit, especially when you walking into dudes that's naturally bigger than you and you dare to knock them out. He could fight the kind of fight where he just skate around the ring, score points and not get touched, but that's not his mentality. I say the same thing about Boots, and people think I'm taking up for him because he's black and he's from Philly. When you are a killer like that, when you a killer of that magnitude, they're like mass murderers. They're trying to hurt you. So they got the athleticism and the skills of, say, a Haney or a Shakur, but their mentalities is different. And you wire how you wire. In a way, if you watch him fight, right, the whole time he's mean-spirited. He's sticking you with punches. He's trying to hurt you, even though he's athletic and even though he's talented. So he gonna get hit. This is like, let's see, 108, 12, 115, 118. This is 5th weight class. Yeah, he gonna start getting hurt, but that shit don't make him gun shy.
Suffering a sudden flash knockdown is normally the moment when a fighter's confidence starts to fall apart, but for Nakatani, it works completely differently. It acts more like a frightening system reset when elite fighters such as Luis Neri or Ryohei Kinoshita manage to briefly put him on the canvas. His response isn't panic, fear, or desperation. Instead, he calmly takes the full count, looks straight through his opponent, and analyzes the defensive mistake like an advanced supercomputer. He doesn't recklessly charge back into danger. He calculates the exact angle that caught him, immediately fixes the opening in his defense, and comes back with a ruthless, ice-cold purpose. He transforms that brief moment of vulnerability into an absolute nightmare, breaking down the very fighter who believed they had discovered his weakness until he eventually produces a devastating highlight reel finish.
Neri dropped Inoue big. Oh! Inoue dropped it with a counter left. Now Neri's not hurt. That's Inoue adjusting to the left hook. And bam! Beautiful. Inoue pulled a Roy Jones and said, come on, and then threw the right, but just missed. Oh, good left hook. Oh! Inoue dropped it. Good right hand. Oh! Right hand again. Right hand again. Right hand again. Neri's still there. Right hand again. He's still there. Oh, good left. I told you. The left hurt him again. He won't see the left. Now he's hurt. Now he's hurt. It was the left. He won't see it. Bam. Oh! Oh, shit. Oh! That's it. He knocked out. Neri's knocked out. He almost knocked his head over the rope.
The real nightmare of facing this fighter isn't simply his devastating power. It's his frighteningly advanced boxing IQ, which was on full display during his recent masterclass against Junto Nakatani. Nakatani's opponent quickly learned that he adapts far too fast. If you show him a recognizable pattern in the opening round, he'll study it, exploit it, and use it to break you down just a few rounds later. He creates constant rhythmic disruption, using sharp pendulum footwork and a constantly changing guard to completely destroy his opponent's natural timing. He refuses to get trapped in predictable lead-hand exchanges, instead maintaining exceptional distance and control while making significant height and reach advantages look almost completely meaningless inside the ring.
The first half very, very cautious, particularly on the part of Junto Nakatani, who was patient, but perhaps overly patient, as Inoue, look, both of them were doing a lot of reconnaissance. You know, there wasn't a lot of punching in the early rounds. But then when the fight ignited at the midway point, 6, 7, and then obviously Inoue really under the cosh, 8, 9, 10, in trouble, I thought, in the 10th round before the head clash. And then 11 was a huge round for Inoue, and yeah, I mean, it ended up being what we wanted, definitely in the second half. Some of the quality of some of the action was off the charts. It was brilliant to watch.
Yeah, because obviously this was a fight that the world of boxing had their eyes on, and obviously I think as like a purist, you know, you can appreciate the first 6 rounds, but I guess do you see why some might find it a bit hard to watch the first 6 rounds when they were being so cautious and patient with each other?
No, that's a fact. That's a fact. I mean, you know, for the casual fan that doesn't really know a lot about the sport, the first 6 rounds would maybe be something of a turn off. I understand that, but what you need to expect realistically, this is 2 of the best fighters on the planet. They're not going to go out there and fight like they're outside a bar. You know, if you make one mistake at that level against a fellow knockout artist, and you could end up flat on your back looking up at the lights, humiliated on an early round stoppage loss. So they bided their time. I just felt that Junto was perhaps guilty of being overly cautious. Inoue, because of his championship pedigree, he's been a champion for 12 years, knows how to nick rounds. He knows how to win rounds. And the early rounds are every bit as important as the later rounds, and that ultimately proved this.
Trying to provoke him with cheap trash talk is widely regarded as one of the biggest mistakes any professional fighter can make today. When rival champion John Real Casimero attempted to get under his skin publicly by mocking him online and calling him a turtle, the entire boxing world seemed to hold its breath. Fans and fighters immediately warned Casimero that he was provoking a dangerous side of Nakatani that he might not be able to control.
Felt pivotal. I mean, if you've got all that momentum, and that wasn't just momentum in round 10, I'd given him 8, 9 and 10, and 10 was the better round of the 3. You know, he was doing a lot of damage. I thought he had Naoya in a bit of trouble in that round, in a good bit of trouble. You know, there was uppercuts landing, big power shots, and then bang. And then not only did that ruin the momentum, but it also gave Naoya a break. It gave the monster a break to go over what he'd been through, and then look how he responded. So I think it would be remiss to say that wasn't a pivotal factor in the fight, but these things happen. It's aggressive southpaw against aggressive orthodox. You're going to get head clashes. It just came at the worst time possible for Junto Nakatani and the best time possible for Naoya Inoue.
Was you surprised about how patient Junto was at the start? Because we've seen in previous fights, he's definitely not been patient, you know, and he's got a few early stoppages previously. But we should be surprised or finding the reason, I guess, why it was so hesitant at the start.
It's the danger on the other side. I mean, all the fights that he's had previously, none of those opponents come close to the quality that's in front of him, both in terms of skill and hitting power. So he's being cautious for a reason. Like I say, you make one mistake, then you could be in trouble. I just felt it was a touch. There's cautious and there's overly cautious, and that's ultimately, I think he was overly cautious in the early rounds. So that the reason was, I mean, I spoke to Rudy Hernandez down in this lobby about 10 minutes ago, and he said, look, you can't go in there guns blazing. I know he's got very good timing. You know, you make one mistake and it could be your last. So I get it, but that ultimately has led to him losing the.
There is an undeniable and striking similarity right now between Junto Nakatani and David Benavidez. While the Mexican monster is making his presence felt in the heavier divisions through overwhelming volume and non-stop suffocating pressure, Nakatani is controlling the lighter weight classes with that same intimidating aura, perfectly combined with elite-level technique. Opponents are entering the ring already understanding deep down that they could be walking straight into a brutal public execution.
Or good performances in all-time fashion over and over. So he might get the nod here. He might be the #1 pound-for-pound guy in the world. That's up for you guys to decide. I know that's going to get messy in the comments, but y'all let me know. But then someone said, you know, all-time, where does he rank? Someone was saying all-time top 15, all-time this. I don't know. I know he's an all-time great. I can definitely say that. I think that's undisputed, right? Like there's no argument you can make for him not being an all-time great. I just don't know where, because top 15, it feels like a jump to be like, top 15 ever. But is it? Is it a jump to say that? I don't want to be a victim of recency bias, but he is so damn good that it might make sense to put him there. But I don't know, because then you have to go through the history of the Marcus of Queensberry and how many good fighters there were and the competition they faced versus what he's faced, even if they weren't moving divisions as much as he was, and if they were moving divisions, you know, participated in this sport. Where that would rank and where he would rank and all that, no idea. But it is always a pleasure to watch Naoya Inoue save boxing. Is what I say. When he fights, we get boxing saved for a night, because I don't know, it just feels like the tribalism, the pomp and frill of just arguing to argue gets stripped away from the sport, and we all just gather around the TV to enjoy watching him fight. Like, he doesn't have a controversial bone in his body.
There isn't a controversial bone in his body. He isn't constantly on Twitter creating a hate mob or stirring up unnecessary drama. People simply enjoy watching him fight because of what he brings inside the ring. The level of respect he has earned has reached the highest levels of boxing royalty, a space normally reserved for the true legends of the sport. Ahead of his massive high-stakes showdown with Junto Nakatani, none other than Manny Pacquiao joined him inside his exclusive training camp, adding even more significance to the preparation for this major fight.
It's Manny Pacquiao, and the guy who's come closest to me is Inoue, the monster.
Inoue.
And you just asked me about Inoue. Are you a big fan of Inoue's?
Yeah, I like him. I like the way he fights.
Is he the closest thing to you? I'm not saying he's as great as you, but is he the closest thing to Pacquiao that we have in the game right now?
Oh yeah, I can say yeah, closest to me because when he started, I went to Japan and then he asked me about what the proper punches and techniques like that.
Well, he learned it well.
Yes.
Because he's been giving them the proper punching techniques.
Well, I told him that
four divisions.
The most important in boxing is footwork. When you have footwork, then you can do a lot of things.
Right. Is that what Freddie gave you when you got to wild card? Did that take your game to the next level, the footwork?
The footwork is the best.
Because before Freddie, you were in and out. And then with Freddie, you started giving him more angles,
side
right?
By side, yeah. Side by side.
And then it was bad enough when it was just in and out with Manny. Once he started getting...
When an all-time legend of that magnitude steps into your camp to share the ring and exchange knowledge with you, it says everything about your status as a once-in-a-generation talent. Legendary Hall of Fame promoter Bob Arum made a remarkable public statement, saying directly that he had never witnessed a fighter from the lighter weight divisions display this kind of suffocating dominance. He emphasized the frightening consistency of someone who doesn't simply settle for safe decision victories, but relentlessly searches for devastating knockouts, doing so at a rate of more than 90% in world championship title fights. That level of sustained destruction against elite championship opposition is almost unheard of in modern boxing.
Fight, I was on my toes for it. It was a basic fight though, not like, it reminded me of the Olympics. A lot of headhunting though, If you're more into like breaking somebody down in the body, this wasn't your fight, But it came down to Inoue, his experience in the big stage, really at the end of the day, carrying the earlier rounds and being able to win the championship rounds. But he did have some problems, kind of like throwing himself in there a little bit when he was throwing his 1-2 or any of his two-piece combinations. He would kind of fall in, and the longer fighter, which was Nakatani, and the one that had the wider stance when it came down to foot positioning. The only thing about Nakatani is that, his jab, he used it more in the beginning of the half, more of a flick jab, kind of like Tyson Fury. And there's not a lot of power into it, but it's more for measurement for his big left hand, right? He was able to land that big left hand, and very successful. He was able to land a nice uppercut with the right hand as well. Anytime he threw combinations, he was successful in the fight. Nakatani was competitive, but really wasn't winning the round. Salute to both fighters, by the way. These guys were both 23-0. I believe Inoue, 33 years old. Nakatani, he's about, 28 years old. So these guys are in their prime fighting each other, and that was for a great unification. Now, people say, hey, listen, what's next for Inoue? Can he be successful moving up in the division to fight, Shushu Bruce Carrington, the WBC champion? I don't know. I don't think so, man. Just with that performance, I don't feel like he should mess with Bruce Shushu Carrington. I think he might be too small, and Bruce might be just too good, honestly. And, when it comes down to Jesse Bam Rodriguez, him moving up a division, can he hold the power of Inoue? Would that power be too much for him? Because when it comes to skill-wise and the matchup of, the way Jesse uses his angles, I can see how he could be very successful. His hand placement and his body punching.
Unlike today's combat sports stars who depend heavily on non-stop internet drama, manufactured rivalries, and staged social media explosions to generate attention and sell tickets, Junto Nakatani operates like a brilliant silent assassin. Highly respected boxing analysts such as Wade Plemons and Timothy Bradley continue to praise the way he manages to cut through the sport's toxic tribalism and endless controversy. He doesn't need to throw microphones around or create a huge confrontation at a press conference to sell out the massive 55,000-seat Tokyo Dome. Instead, he delivers pure, authentic athletic excellence that brings hardcore and casual fans together worldwide because they simply want to witness elite technique combined with devastating power. Every time he steps into the spotlight, it feels like a rare historic sporting occasion that makes the entire combat sports world pause whatever they're doing and watch greatness unfold.
Greatness. Ooh, man. Inoue is something fucking else. Inoue something. He the truth. I'm telling y'all, he is the truth. The truth, man. Look, it all started up front. Up front. I mean, we sitting up here and we saying that Nakatani the fencing master. Shit, he wasn't the fencing master in this fight, dude. Inoue was getting his jab in, boy. Woo, splitting that guard. Shit, he was taking full advantage of Nakatani, bringing that lead hand down low. Coming, and every time he'll put it up top, and then he'll come and squeeze his jab underneath. Boy, that jab was cold from Inoue. Fucking putting his foot on the inside to land that jab, outside to land that jab. He was varying that shit, boy. Woo, he mastered. Inoue has mastered the southpaw style. Boy, bring your ass on. Bring your ass on, Bam. He gonna mop your ass up too. Bring your ass on, Bam. Ooh. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I said it to your damn face. Bring your ass on up. Oh, you want to mess with the monster, boy? He gonna tune your ass up too. Chinga, tune your...
We are witnessing a historic 12-year reign of dominance that shows absolutely no signs of slowing down anytime soon. The conversation across the boxing world has completely shifted from whether he is the best active fighter today to where he ranks among the greatest legends in the sport's history. He is quickly building a monumental legacy that raises one massive and highly debated question throughout the fighting world. What exactly would it take for Junto Nakatani to officially surpass Manny Pacquiao as the greatest Asian fighter in boxing history? Does he need to continue pushing his body to its limits and move through additional weight classes, or have his incredible knockout ratio and overwhelming dominance already secured his place at the very top of the mountain? Let me know in the comments where you believe his ultimate ceiling is and who, if anyone, could possibly stop him. That's all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. Stay tuned, and we'll catch you in the next one.